Welcome back to Global View. Today, joining us, we have the two experts in security, innovation, and the United States and Japan relationship. Our first guest is Moe Fukada, a Japanese investigative journalist and an analyst widely known for her work on technology policies, cybersecurity, and national security issues in the East Asia. Moe examines the often unseen relationships between governments, industry, and emerging technologies, bridging clarity to how these forces influence Japan's strategic choices and the broader Indo-Pacific landscape. Also joining us is Jason Ho, an electrical engineer, technology executive, and prolific inventor with over 400 international patents. Thank you both for joining Global View.
Thank you. Appreciate the timing here.
Thank you.
I'll start with a question for Moe. You have become known for your investigative work into technology, cyber power, and national security. From your research, how do you see AI changing the balance of power between nations?
That's
I think maybe I will lead some answer and have her to expand. And I think and definitely Moy and I, we are not a fan with AI because in Japan, especially in Japan, AI sometimes means surveillance and control. I think we try to make our own AI solutions, and Moy tried to pushing hard, but they met so many difficulties. So maybe Moy can talk about the challenges she has to try to push as an entrepreneur and try to push new technology. And in Japan, especially about the Japanese and their feeling about the AI. Maybe you can tell.
Actually, AI industry in Japan is controlled by Taiwanese companies called TSMC, because AI industry is heavily depending on semiconductors. So producing semiconductors, we are not only Japanese, but also Americans all over the world, depending on a company called TSMC. It's a world largest semiconductor manufacturing company in the world. So they use their manufacturing power, convert it to political power to negotiate with many governments to penetrate every country, to manipulate politicians and get their own benefit.
Especially more research about the WHO, the TSMC and WHO, they try to build the intelligence cameras around the world, AI camera. Maybe you can talk about it.
TSMC got the huge subsidies from the Japanese government, and they built a big factory in Japan, Kyushu area, and they are now producing a chip for AI camera that can detect your face and name
Behaviors.
and immediately report it to the government. And not only the Japanese government, that data is going to China, because Japanese government changing the privacy protection law this moment, and Japanese government working with those AI company and semiconductor company to give our personal data to the Chinese government.
You mentioned semiconductors and Taiwan and
Yes.
China.
Yes.
What is the threat that China poses to the semiconductor industry as a whole? You can give examples of Taiwan, United States, and Japan, but what is the major threat that China imposes on that industry that's so important for so much of the future of technology?
Because Taiwanese semiconductor factory they are working for China.
Yeah.
Because those people are originally from mainland China, becoming a Taiwanese citizen and produce a chip all over the world. And they can put the back doors in the semiconductor chip.
Maybe I can elaborate a little bit because the Taiwan-China relationship is quite complicated and it's very hard for the foreigners to understand the details. Even today, I made a lecture and share with people the ideas. Taiwan still has one China policies and the constitutions. It means Taiwan also, the government, based on the Taiwanese constitution, they agree Taiwan is a part of China. Just the definition of China is unclear. So TSMC for a long time, actually the position themselves is a Chinese company. Just like NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, when he was in China, he stated very clearly he is a Chinese. And he is, and he implies he is serving the Chinese and the favor. So both TSMC and NVIDIA is the crown jewels of Chinese communists, but also they smartly used Taiwan as a name because people doesn't know. And Taiwan, and after 1949, the Chiang Kai-shek moved the Chinese government to Taiwan. They're a group of Taiwanese elites, so-called Taiwanese elite. Actually, they are Chinese elites. They have same family roots with the communist China members. And they are not a traditional Taiwanese. They never lived in Taiwan before the 1949. So they moved to Taiwan, they set foot in Taiwan, but they were friends and families to Chinese communist elite members. So those people has no allegiance to Taiwan or so-called Taiwan for the most Western world understanding. But the purpose to separate Taiwan and China is the Chinese communist practice to confuse people. So people think Taiwan is good, China is bad. So they think, and people can can openly embrace with TSMC, NVIDIA, because those are Taiwanese company and they're Taiwanese people. They are our allies, they are our friends. And just like U.S. has so much trouble getting into the Middle East or other nations, when you go into the nation, you don't understand the complicated network behind, then you will take mistakes and to see who is your friends, who is your enemy.
But so just on what you just said there, because that's very interesting. If Taiwan, if what I understood you said is that Taiwan, the leadership of Taiwan is almost sympathetic to China, based on the history of the former Chinese elites that went to Taiwan. If that's the case, why have they been so aggressive in trying to have their own independence, to align themselves with the United States, to assure that the mainland does not take them over? Or is that not happening, or is there something else going on?
It's a show. I always tell people it's a show. The Chinese, thousands year practice. They play your enemies, they play your friends. I always say this is like a lion game, male lion, the female lion. Male lion stand on the top and look so mean and look so and cool. But actually it's male lion killing you. So the same as a private and the Chinese practice. So Taiwan and China are playing two sides. If Taiwan really encountered a threat to the China, and I have several simple facts. And first, this is reported by the Nikkei News by Japan. It's very famous news. Talk about the Taiwan you don't know. And almost 90% of Taiwan news, those generals, those military officers, once after their retirement, immediately went to China. Why they do that? And also, Taiwanese majority, they have no interest to fight for the Taiwanese independence. Actually, and when the China make the exercise surrounding Taiwan Islands, majority of Taiwan the career soldiers, they retire from the army because they're afraid any conflicts really coming in. So in the recent poll last year, probably only 4% of Taiwanese willing to fight against China for Taiwan independence. If Taiwan politician is really serious about China-Taiwan conflicts to want to make Taiwan independent, why they don't change their constitution? Taiwan still one China constitution. The official name for Taiwan is Republic of China. Why don't they say Republic of Taiwan? Why don't they say this is the country of Taiwan? They don't change it. So those politicians doesn't change it. It means it leaves the doors. Legally, constitutionally, actually Taiwan is part of China. And politician doesn't want to tell you that. And And they just played again the Taiwan-China conflicts. So, and it makes so many, and we call the defense prime, the defense companies. They're so happy because they sell weapons and Taiwan to get big profits. And also those tension created can help China to use Taiwan to infiltrate the world.
Wow, this is actually shocking because we realize at which extent misinformation shapes what we know and what we don't know. I don't even suspect about what's really happening. And I believe that our networking technologies today play a major role into shaping opinions. So you both are experts. You built technologies in AI and networking conductors. So how do you see these new technologies deployed by the government influencing, for example, relationship between today Japan and United States, when you have all these technologies that are also built up within the United States competing with AI systems that are developed by China and utilized as a almost spy system?
Before Moe talk about it, I just with one point. And currently, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, the TSMC, the one company produced 90% of worldwide high-end chips. It means one company. There's no second choice. There's no second solutions. And all chips coming from the TSMC, one company, even include the US. So, and the TSMC holding we say holding the US national security, and they also holding the China national security. Our weapons and the US weapons and the US military and all the instrument equipment, the chips is coming from TSMC.
TSMC also provide AI chips for China military, Chinese
Yes.
military.
I want to say the same. But also TSMC provide all the chips to PLA. So all the PLA, all the Chinese military, national security, the body chain running in China, the communication network running in China, the national security, national infrastructure, all TSMC chip. So one company control the semiconductor chips in both the US and China. So if we talk about the Chinese Communist threat, then we have to think about one thing. If TSMC is a US company, is a US ally, why Chinese so aggressive to the world? Why Chinese communists? They are not stupid. They are not idiots. Why they all use TSMC chips? That's a very simple and judgment to understand the background. And when we talk about Taiwan, Japan, and China, all the conflicts, all the national security issues, all the aggressiveness, but reality, TSMC is the one. Semiconductor chips is the most important thing. Control the US life, control the Chinese national security, control the Japan national security. But the US knows that, and I talked to many people close to White House, and they clearly and the US government understand the TSMC, the duality, and because they are so important to China, also important to the US. But unfortunately, because money, because greed, and the current administration still embrace TSMC tightly to push the AI solutions. That will give the consequence to Japan that we can talk about. I'm sorry. So I'm talking about TSMC, why they're so powerful and why they're so influential in Japan.
Because
the TSMC is because the reason probably and some topic we cannot talk openly over the YouTube because
one thing I just want the people to know is Taiwan doesn't feel any threat from China because they are providing weapon technology like semiconductor chips, radar chips to China, and they don't stop it. They provide the chips for missile. They provide chips for radar system, the most advanced one, much better than America has. So if they're really afraid of China, why they need to provide weapon components to China rather than America? America doesn't have enough chip for their F-35, F-15s. They don't provide to TSMC. They don't provide enough chips to U.S. army, but they provide chips to China PLA.
So Chinese PLA has no semiconductor shortage problem, but there's occasional reports. You can check a lot of open news sources, and the F-35 and or other U.S. military systems, especially for the defense functions like anti-missile and anti-ICBM missile, those equipment, they are missing chips. Especially the U.S. complaining about TSMC cannot supply sufficient radar chips to the U.S. defense. But there's no shortage in PLA. PLA radar defense, the military defense expansion rapidly happened in the last 5 years after the pandemic. And their radar capability almost developed 10 times more. There's no shortage of chips at all. No problem of shortage of chips. China doubled their air forces in past 5 years. And they also have no trouble to missing those chips for their advanced jet fighters. So this is a concern and very hard to let information out to the outside world.
What is the region's reaction to what's going on? Japan, for example, which is the third largest economy in the entire world and a massive hub for so much of this advanced technology that we're discussing here. What's their perspective and reaction to all of these shifts that are occurring so quickly?
Actually, Japanese government already betrayed US.
Wow.
They transfer the most advanced technology from Japan to China through Taiwan already. They are helping building a much better weapon system, defense system in China.
And I personally witnessed, and because we learned that there's China, Japan, and conflicts recently because the new prime minister talked about and their position about Taiwan, and they mentioned that Taiwan will be a part of Japanese national security. So the tension is high and attract the global attentions. But in reality, actually, Japanese government and Chinese government working hands in hand to transfer the US most advanced CNT carbon nanotube technology from Japan to Korea, then to China. This is so horrible. This is a Japan government sponsored and to copy, to steal US CNT technology. It's so important. CNT technology is important material, and this is a US advantage, advanced material, and can be in the chips, and 10 times stronger than steel, and with the same weight, and have a good conductivity. They can make an AI chip runs 10 times faster with only 10% power consumption. This so much important technology. Now Japanese government is stole it from the American. Now moved to Korea to hire the Korean companies to reverse the technology and working with Chinese officials, communist officials, hand in hand to develop, to reverse the CNT technology, to have China have the best AI technology, best weaponry technology. We try to report this to many people. I visited and DC, also Moe was in the DC. We talked to people and close to the national security. We try to explain to them what's going on there. But the problem is money talks. Money talks. The AI connect huge money. NVIDIA extremely rich. TSMC extremely rich. There's a very simple chart for AI business. I don't know if AI is booming. I don't know if people knows that. The Oracle, OpenAI, all those companies, their profit is very little or negative. The NVIDIA has a 55% net profit for AI work. TSMC also close to 45% net profit for the AI operation. So even talk about AI booming, all money actually goes to the NVIDIA and TSMC companies. They have money, they have lobbying power, politicians happy, they go the IPOs, and for the congressmen, there's no inside trading issues. So they give the stock options, congressmen immediately become millionaires. Everyone happy. This is a happy ecosystem. So no one concerned about the national security. That's the reality.
Most of AI company, they are negative, other than TSMC and NVIDIA. And they are playing game. They are doing, how can I say, loop transaction.
We would think that all this OpenAI, ChatGPT, Grok, are growing fast, and people are becoming addicted to use it. But this is from just a consumer point of view, not government, not from the government perspective. And also, United States is devolving a lot of resources to development of technologies as well, because I understand it's extremely important, mostly in what seems to be in the future cyber wars between nations rather than real weapons, right? Because information are weapons, and we know it. So when we have a country like China, who is not only raising economically, but is now having a monopoly, as I seem to understand, also on AI technologies, which seem to be like the present and the near future of also culture, governments, the way we communicate, we exchange information, the way we protect information. How where do you think United States is right now in comparison to China, Japan, and all this other block in the world that seems to have a much stronger, more developed technologies?
AI and first on the consumer side, and I think you can check with many experts, they don't see a substantial income for AI to justify the current investment. There's a huge investment into AI. AI majority income rely on the defense and also national securities. And we look at the reality of AI, we only have and one name, that's NVIDIA. Whoever you talk about OpenAI, they all need NVIDIA chips. But definitely Amazon's trying, Google is trying, and Google try to use tensor processors to replace and NVIDIA GPU, and Amazon also started to build the data center without using any NVIDIA GPU. But reality is the NVIDIA GPU still dominated the AI world. It is because and their CUDA, their software packages, which is very convenient for a developer to use it. So when you talk about the AI world, actually we only see one player, that's called NVIDIA. No matter China develop it or the US develop it, we talk about the US need to be in front of China development, and the US must win this AI battle. And we look at the reality. We look at Jensen Huang. How many times he met Xi Jinping last year? How many times? You can search. And how many times he met President Trump last year? A person can be a very, very good friend to Xi Jinping, also extremely good friend to the President Trump. Don't you feel ironic? Don't you feel strange? And we talk about AI competition, and NVIDIA's only solution in town. No second choice. And so this comes to questions. And U.S. China talk about and AI competition. So many Americans worry about the threat from Chinese communists. Why our political leaders has no concern at all? Very happy to support NVIDIA. So much in love with NVIDIA. Want to ask Japanese money, Korean money to invest in NVIDIA to get more AI, to make NVIDIA stronger, powerful. NVIDIA is going to build a very large data center inside China. And no one wears concerns because money talks. And this is the first. And the second, is NVIDIA only company, only people in the world has talented people for AI? It's not the truth. Like us, we want to do the alternatives. But the reality is there's so much unfair business practice happening nowadays because company and the politicians, they are tightly coupled today. So they become audacious. They can do whatever they like to do. They don't worry about the concern for the SEC and investigation. So this is a fact. We are working on the AI solution and try to compete with NVIDIA. We are small. We only hope we can get a very small, tiny part of AI. Will be very happy. But what's reality? SEC, such large organization, they have no interest to investigate the NVIDIA monopoly, the inside trading, the loop transactions, but SEC is investigating on Moe and me. That's the fact. They investigate on us. We are making the fraud because we work on the AI chip. So when your government play as a part, support the big company like NVIDIA to try to crash. I don't think we are the only one.
SEC thinks small company claims we are working on AI.
It's a fraud. It's security fraud.
That's a security fraud. And
Investigate on us. SEC investigate. We are so small company. We only have 3 people. So small company. SEC has no interest. We are private company, small California company, investing on us on AI development. They have no interest to look at AI. They have a big division, big group investigating on us on AI claim.
So for the viewers to understand, your company is attempting to rival NVIDIA or to try to be some sort of
That's correct.
competitor
That's correct. Yes.
to
We cannot say rival. This is the reality of this free market, right?
yeah.
AI is so important. Everyone can start to work some AI solution. When we becoming so important and widely accepted, and people think it's important because our AI solution before, and we have a big company, we cannot say name here, big company willing to work with us. So now we have a chance to be so successful. Then immediately SEC coming in. No, you have to stop it. No, it's just a fraud because you are not NVIDIA. You are not big company. So you talk about into AI, this is a security fraud.
So you believe that because you're trying to go against NVIDIA, that the government has come down on you? Is it
Definitely. Yes.
it's
It's
simply because
reality.
NVIDIA has that type of monopoly on
There are
it?
more than that. So I want to disclose to people because the problem is, and for example, and one congressman, and NVIDIA can easily send the middleman talk to them. Inside trading is legal for our U.S. Congress. And now I'm telling the congressman, NVIDIA going to invest the company A. This company A, and I'm hypothetical talking. I'm not talking about NVIDIA committing the crime. I'm saying any company can go to the congressman. I'm so powerful AI player. I'm going to invest the company A. This company A going to be immediately go IPO and have a very, very good return. I give you some stock options. Is that good? Yeah, very good.
And just to have our listeners to understand exactly what your company does, which type of service you provide, who is
Okay.
the ultimate
Okay. We are working with very advanced US AI solutions and not based on the crudo and have a US AI solution confirmed by the US agencies. They have a 1,000 times performance better than the crudo and than the open AI. And we are building a new type of computer chip solution. We call it reusable chip. Because TSMC, NVIDIA, their flaw is they want people to change chip every 3 to 5 years. AI chip only can run 3 to 5 years. Every 3 to 5 years, you have to make new chips. So we have a new technology. Also, myself having and validate technology with many big companies and accepted by the F-35 project and Intel. So reusable chip is allowed. The chip can be used repeatedly, just like and you can program, you can download different app to your phone. So we make a reusable chip like a chip like a Lego. So you can you can make a different combination of your chip. So after the 2 or 3 years, you have a new AI function, you have new AI design, you can just reprogram it. So one chip can run 100 years. So that would disrupt NVIDIA and TSMC monopoly. Because if one chip running 100 years, you don't need the TSMC manufacturers. If the chip can program anytime, it means NVIDIA is not only AI players. Everyone can design AI cores. So this reusable chip is open platform. So we make an open platform. So everyone can develop the AI core to put there. If you perform better than NVIDIA, you make successful, or you are just a 10, 20 people's team, you don't charge so high for your AI chip, NVIDIA charge and probably 40,000 or even more expensive the chip, you just charge $4. Many people use it, even purpose not good enough, you use it. So we want to bring the AI back to the US control, not just one company control. So I was explaining what the US control is, everyone can participate, this free market. One company control is NVIDIA, is dangerous.
What is the biggest threat from this monopoly?
Yes, it's a big stretch because we are working hard, try to bring the AI control back to America because America is this is environment.
You co-authored a book called The Big Plots, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, Moe, you are an investigative journalist as well, so you try to highlight some of these dynamics to your audience. You have many followers on social media. You build up a big voice.
Because
Which are the biggest threat? I mean, like, you have been censored at some point, or do you feel?
No, she is under the criminal lawsuit. Japanese government sue her criminally for this book violate copyright. We wrote the book together, and someone fake our book, claim they own the copyright.
Oh, okay. So
And
it's a
then
copyright issue. Somebody's claiming that they own the copyright to the
and
content.
they use government power, Japanese government power, sue her criminally. It's not a civil lawsuit, criminally. So
Criminal.
maybe she's a very difficult fight.
because what we afraid of is China and Taiwan working together to develop AI chip industry, and they dominate the world and steal people's data. And also they are surveillance people all over the world, everywhere, everybody, like me, small person, and also your personal data, all the data, your personal photos, videos, everything in your phone, your personal talking with your friends, families, all the everything recorded by the phone or computers, and that information is sent to China because Taiwan helped Chinese to collect all of the data. And actually, Chinese becoming a Taiwanese, and then they pretend US friends to penetrate US government. And they becoming Trump's friend, not only Trump, Biden's friend, every president, every US president's friends.
So
And they want to just steal US citizens' privacy and private data, your personal data, sent to China to monitor you and also analyze your behavior.
So maybe I go to more
Right.
details. So sorry for that, because we disclose those details in our book. So that's what she's talking about and why we receive so much attack. So maybe you can search and you were surprised. AI speaks Chinese. Why AI speak Chinese? Because why they promote AI so much? And the first, AI is a tool, and big companies, big players can collect the personal privacies legally because it's not human beings. It's a computer program, collect your privacies. So, and the Congress, why they spend so much money to the US Congress and the senators? Because the US lawmakers has no interest to look into these matters. So when they collect huge data from your personal data, and but they are afraid you can sue them. You can sue them and liable for taking your data away. So what they want to do is translate everything into Chinese, then curate them inside China. So there's a Trump, very good friend. I cannot talk about the company name here. Trump and put him as consulting position in national security, a Chinese descendant, and one very close to the Communist Party. And many people close to the mega try to disclose it, but we have nowhere to go. And that person, only very young, genius person, and why he's so important, so genius in AI development? Because he is in charge to translate everything into Chinese. His company use huge amount of Chinese workers and take all the information coming from all around the world, and they use the computer tools to translate to Chinese and to make sure translation is accurate, then and process them, manage them, and put it back a form that AI can use. So this is the AI industry. That's the more I talk about, and that corporation is among Taiwan, China, and Japan. So the book we just talked about little part and not very completely, but then she received a strong attack because it is closed ecosystem. This is a billions dollar ecosystem because huge money profit exchange. Because if and the big company, AI company, want to process data by themselves, it's a cost. You need to spend the money to have people to process this data. But if you send this money to China to have Chinese translate it, the Chinese companies pay the company provide those data. So they not only to collect data, no legal consequences, send to China, China will pay you. And then coming back, they can use the AI to run.
How Japan is positioning itself in this dynamic? Because if they are carrying a criminal investigation against you because you outed this
Yes.
truth,
So
what's your experience of why Japan is prosecuting you?
and because we try to disclose the fact to the U.S., Japan no longer the U.S. ally. The China tried to infiltrate Japan and into the prosecutors, judges, and also the attorney firms back to 1990s. It's very early years. Now it's fully success. And full success because the Japanese law allowed Chinese to become Japanese without telling people actually they are Chinese, but they carry Japanese name. Now they are main prosecutors, they are judges. So
They are
and
politicians.
also politicians.
So you
And
think there's sort of a lawfare in Japan as well?
It's an infiltration, is what I understand.
infiltration is infiltration. So the horrible part is we try to warn people that it's so difficult. So and you can search fentanyl. Fentanyl, China actually used Japan to come to US. But when we report this to the White House, and the Japanese government immediately and hide and protect those fentanyl criminals inside Japan. They told the US government, we lost those criminal information. We provide criminal information to DOJ, and Japanese government said, oh, I'm sorry, we lost the information. You can check the news. It's very famous news. Fentanyl and also the fraud group. The fraud group so seriously, Japanese government protecting them.
Yes.
And like we talk about this technology transfer and the Japanese prosecutors protecting them. We filed so many lawsuits in Japan. We even sued the Japanese government for helping the Chinese communists. And we have disclosed, with the US people help, we have disclosed PLA, US enemy, right? PLA top scientists run a large political group inside Japan. They have Japanese ruling party politicians supporting them. They have criminal records and running the PLA operation inside Japan. We file a lawsuit in Japanese court. Every time, we lose.
Wow.
Even the evidence so clear. We try to counter America, the FBI investigate on us, the IRS investigate on us. This is a powerful group. People say it's untouchable.
I am trying to stop China army to steal Japanese most advanced technology. It can be used in the military system to China, and I reported to the politicians. I met with 8 politicians, majority party, and
including the prime minister. Prime
yeah,
minister,
including
Japanese prime minister.
They did nothing. They just let them steal it.
And in the end, there's a Congress session accusing her is a China spy, try to arrest her. You demand
Well, I know that, but
Why would you be accused of being a Chinese spy if you're trying to warn against China? What I don't understand.
this is because China owns net army. They are very strong to silence people. So once the way silence people, they say you are China spy. So you try to say the good Japanese and say they work for China, or you try to fight against Taiwanese and to help China.
Not only that, actually, they are the sponsor of the Japanese politicians. So that's a big issue.
So this is because this is a huge and operation. So Chinese communist, I always try to warn people. So that I wrote in my book, and why people do not understand. And 10 years ago, no one. If I told people China would become an international threat, no one would believe me. People think I'm hallucinating. I'm a conspiracy theorist. But now, after 20 years, suddenly China becoming a threat everywhere in the world. North America, South America, Africa, Europe. every the same. But why no expert, no any and specialist make a warning in advance, and now suddenly China becoming so influential, and why people worry about China? Why there's no solution? China still grow, their influence still grow bigger, and their power still go stronger. Why there's no solution? And all the people around the world are idiots, and people doesn't know how to handle it. The reality is very simple, and Chinese is well organized and infiltrated Western society already, and they know how to play games, and they make how to and destroy or silence people, and which find out what they are doing, but they will promote those people, supporting them in the background, in the flag, fighting against China. So we are so worried about, and there's a cult group in the South Korea. They are deeply in control of Japanese politicians. This cult group, Japanese politician, I think probably and over two-thirds is supported by this cult group. Over two-thirds politicians is coming this cult group. And you think this is a problem for Japan? This cult group also so close to Republican populations in here. So
Wait, wait.
powerful.
Now you're talking about South Korea. You said there's a
Yes.
cult group in
Yes.
South Korea. Can you explain what is this group and how are they connected to Japan?
And depends on the this channel. If you want to, where you want to this channel. If you want to beat any platform, we mention the name, immediately you will be erased from every platform. This cult was so powerful. When they have and the memory service for the leader, there's human God. Their name is Christian, but they say their leader is a new Jesus, and it's a human God. So everyone need to and obey him. So the 2022, there's a memory service for the leader, and he passed away. So memory service. World leaders, even including President Trump, Pompeo, they paid adolescence. They paid tributes. And the world leaders, including Italian leaders, so many leaders, yes, you didn't know that, including your leaders, went there, paid
The
tributes.
gods. She
Human
says.
God, human God, it's a new
Goddess.
Jesus, new
Well,
Jesus.
you know, this is such a fascinating interview, so dense of content. I think we should need doing an episode series with
No
everything you're
problem.
displaying right now, because I'm processing all the information as you talk. But I think to make things simple for most of listeners that are really like, they're probably listening to this reality for the very first time. And I will make you a more relatable question. Is TikTok a threat as well? Since it's so.
TikTok first TikTok banned in China. Why? Why
Oh,
TikTok banned in China? Chinese
exactly.
cannot use
I didn't
TikTok.
know. I thought it was banned in many countries, but I didn't know about in
China
China.
called ByteDance. ByteDance TikTok and the mother company, and also the TikTok is formed by the very very important people in the Republican Party. Also, I cannot mention the name. You can search. TikTok is formed by the American powerful politicians, and he is still a big donator. And for many, many congressmen and senators of Republican senators, I cannot mention the name. I'm sorry for that. And why China banned TikTok? This is very important. And TikTok was developed by the Chinese to monitor the criminals in jails. Also, the infamous
You're killing one of my
infamous
mates right now.
also infamous the concentration camp and in Xinjiang and the Uyghurs and the TikTok they can influence our brain process because it's very effective and they can disrupt our human process, make people becoming more submissive and also acceptive to the crazy ideas, and they can easily create and unstable events or and very very and disturbing event in the society. So Chinese government completely banned TikTok use in China. It's completely banned. They can,
Because
yes,
short video is very bad to children's brain.
they have all
Children
the start.
cannot focus things anymore
Yes,
because TikTok video is basically less than 30 seconds or 60 seconds.
So Moe has some friends because Moe runs a channel in Japan. So she has many and specialists and experts on these matters, and they studied those issues, and they cannot go anywhere because once you talk about it, will be censored, will be banned, because the platform is controlled by those powerful people. They do not want to let people know. TikTok becoming so influential. So the TikTok becoming U.S. company. I just talked to one TikTok employee and in Seattle, and because the U.S. law want to make TikTok becoming U.S. companies, so the working with the powerful politicians and the Chinese workers completely moved to America, immediately become U.S. citizens or become U.S. permanent residents. It's a special channel. And because they want to turn TikTok becoming an American favor. Before the TikTok and when the TikTok running here is a Singapore company, but they are engineers inside China. Because after the Trump separation and they make a deal and they think to move those engineers to the US becoming the US citizen is even better because they can in field to do their work. They can make their work more effective. But definitely, and if it's anything bad about TikTok, usually will be will be shadow banned. But if we talk about the reality and China not allow the TikTok ROMs, we tried every time the YouTube doesn't allow us to talk about it. It isn't allowed. Immediately talk about it, it will be removed. The video will be deleted because they don't want the people to know Chinese banned TikTok.
Well, now we know. We're sharing it with our global viewers. Yes.
And
I think based on everything you've said, people are asking the major question, what is the purpose of AI besides surveillance? Are there positives of AI? I mean, we see that Saudi Arabia, Japan, South Korea are investing billions and potentially trillions of dollars in the US economy, in AI development and research and development. But what is the future of AI, and are there benefits for society, or are we looking at a very dangerous dystopian future with AI?
I always answer the question with a simple statement. AI is a war. It's a war against humanity. It's a war against the society. It's a war against all nations. AI is a tool for those powerful group. And in the science fiction movie, always say non-state actors. And those powerful group to control the world. AI is for control. AI is to remove humanity. AI is for the decivilized, the human beings. Think about AI. Before we need to think, we need to process, we can create something. Now use AI, human creativity, hum, and uh, and uh, and when we enjoy and making something, building something, all those fun disappeared from our society.
And you know, young people nowadays, they don't talk to their friends. They talk to AI, ChatGPT, and ChatGPT may recommend you suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we
And
have seen some cases.
yes,
Yes, in
I've seen
some
a case
cases,
of a suicide. Yeah.
and
yes.
and also the most problem is AI they dominate the knowledge or they try to create a fact. And for example, I just my personal experience also this game also can show people and maybe can have a less and not so and stressful talking. I tried the AI to because Huawei, you know, is an infamous company in the world, but actually Huawei is a member for the Japanese largest and economy organization KDLM. And we have the fact, and we know the KDLM people more as friend there. We know the Huawei is a member. But when we ask AI, is Huawei is a member? The AI will say, no, Huawei is not a member. No, misinformation. Then we present the link and the Huawei news release. Huawei joined the KDLM. The AI answer, no. And Huawei had the news, but when we checked the membership, there's no Huawei. Then we show the membership webpage, and to show the AI, Huawei is a member. The name member there is the Keidanlian official member, and the Keidan, Huawei is the Japanese large economic organization member. And the AI say no. And the member has so many definitions in Japanese. They have a constant member, they have a temporary member, and so we don't know which member it is.
Yeah, actually, AI telling you lies. A couple of years ago, I asked the AI, who is Moe Fukada? They told me Moe Fukada is a young, charming lady who is a pornography actress. And I was so angry about it.
Okay.
So probably you can hear the story. When
That's
AI
who's
mistake,
setting AI? Who's programming it?
Who is programming the AI, do you think, that made it say that?
Chinese.
yeah,
Chinese.
because yes, Chinese. Because when you have AI presented wrong information, I think you probably heard the very famous. I don't remember the details. One person mistakenly take by AI say he is a criminal and committed murder case in the past. Then his life being destroyed because AI mistakenly tag him as a murderer. Everyone of his friend becomes so nervous. So, and this is an exercise. This is the first step. Try to allure people into AI. Next step, if AI want to remove you, because AI the purpose and still use the science fiction words, find outliers who is not submissive to the new system. If you are not submissive, they can tag you. After they tag you, they can make you anything. They can make you a criminal. They can make, like a Moise case, pornographer and actress, and they can make you a evil person. How do you fight against the big AI system if you don't erase it?
We have seen it already with misinformation campaigns of inconvenient voices by weaponized press and also sometimes the justice system. But now I understand that AI is going to be an amplifier of these dynamics with the difference that people trust ChatGPT and they trust those devices. We should
Yeah,
actually
there was
train people. We should train people not to believe everything ChatGPT tell them.
unfortunately, people say, I will check the AI and I will find the AI answer. If AI says yes, oh, that's yes. If I say no, that's no. Then you are lying.
I don't usually use AI. I can't rely on them.
I should say AI has some benefit. That's true, and we cannot deny the any technology can bring some good to the society. But the issue is, what's the purpose and what's the motivation to bring those technologies to the world? If the purpose evil, even a good technology can be vicious. If the purpose is good, maybe something and is not so and welcome to the society, but then maybe that's useful. Just like seatbelt. People doesn't like seatbelt because it's so annoying. I had to wear a seatbelt driving, but actually it's good for people. So this is about technology, your motivation, your purpose.
I have one last big picture question for both of you. When I worked on President Trump's campaign and his transition team, I met with many Japanese officials. In fact, I had attempted to organize a meeting between Prime Minister Abe and Trump, and then they later became very close friends. The relationship was very strong with Trump and Abe. What is the relationship with the current leadership of Japan with the United States and Taiwan with the United States? Are they allies or not allies? Because I think a lot of what you've said today has changed the picture of how the US should look at these countries, considering the current situation. But I would like for you to clarify in case we misunderstood, because this is a very, very important question, I think, especially for the US right now.
Our new Prime Minister Takaichi, she is trying to use Trump president and the US to fight against China. She won a war. She wants to fight against China.
So maybe I can and use the simple term to explain. The Abe Shinzo, the Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister Abe Shinzo, and also the current Prime Minister Takaichi is strongly supported by the cult group from the South Korea. And this group has strong tie to the Chinese communists, also to the Taiwanese elite for years. And the history back to Asia, especially starting from 20th centuries, and hundreds. And this is a very complicated and event because there's a Japanese expansion or invasion into Chinese territory, and also there's a and the Chinese mafia, the gangsters, the drug lords expansion to Japan and to the neighboring countries. So it is a complicated war and the history event back to the I think 100 years ago, more than 150 years ago. So as a consequences after World War II, so World War II, the understanding World War II also is a big difficult task because in Asia it's not just simply and the Japan joined the Axis nations and the initiation of World War II. Actually, Japan engaged war within neighboring countries or neighboring countries had so many wars and before World War II happened. In China with Russia, Russia with Japan, and Japan took Korea, and also in South Asia, there are so many wars, Myanmar and Vietnam, Philippines, there are so many wars ongoing. So in the end, the champion is unfortunately, is the cult group, which supported the Chinese communists and supported by the Taiwanese. And the cult group, the tie with Chinese, because Chinese communists understand their ideologies and the aftermath of war in China will not be supported by world environment, by the world society, because China becoming enemy to the allies for the World War II. So there's one observation, and maybe I can help people to understand this matter easier. So Chiang Kai-shek is the winner of the World War II. But you look at all the nations, like President Roosevelt becoming a very popular person, and the British the same thing, and every nation, the winner and the leader, winning the World War II, always become an important role in the nation. But Chiang Kai-shek is exception. He lost China within years. A leader winning the World War II, leading China, won the World War II, and actually and lost position immediately. So it means something going on behind the scene. So Chinese communists, in short, Chinese communists used the position after World War II, used the cult in the South Korea. And especially they know the Christian is the US and the main the religious, the most powerful one. So he make this cult as a Christian group, also claim as a new Jesus in this group, and use this cult group and new Jesus. So they sponsor the Japanese politicians. Japanese politicians also needed this cult group help, of course, and they before after World War II they are war criminals. And then they have this cult group help to negotiate with Republican Party, the Democratic Party in the American, so release their and the responsibility of World War II. So actually, the older Japanese leader, even including Abe Shinzo, I think his grandfather-in-law,
His grandfather
his grandfather,
his
war criminal, class one.
class A war criminal,
Class
and
one.
he's a drug lord.
He also drug lord, and a very famous name is they call it's opium law and also the muffin law. So this is a very famous drug dealer. So those background make those Japanese elite the older history very complicated. When they are so close to the U.S., so close to the President Trump, and we try to send the right information and the right history to understand, but it's too complicated. It's very difficult in the short tense, very few sentence to talk about the histories. So
Yeah, I see.
so I just want to say the reality, Taiwan, China, Japan is way more complicated as it seems.
One last question from my side to you both. Moe, you run different channels on Japan. How is the media scene when it comes to freedom of speech in Japan?
It's we are losing freedom of speech this moment. Couple of years ago, we have more freedom, but recently, it's difficult for us to criticize politicians because every politician use police and prosecutors to arrest those people who criticize them. So situation is much more difficult than before. And also, new prime minister, she is trying to change the constitution to limit freedom of speech legally. So near future, we cannot talk about what is happening inside Japan freely, unless I change my citizenship.
So Moe and I had so many seminars in Japan because our message or information cannot go out around the world. Even in America would be very difficult. Every seminar we have hundreds of people join, and people's passion, people's and they are so anxious on the current situations. And after all the major platform like X and YouTube, they use AI to dominate the how many views, how many likes. There's no longer reflect to the real viewers. Use AI, and this is a majority change to the society of freedom of speech because even your information is very good, people are so popular, but it's through the AI program, and they can teach you your speech will only have 10 views, 100 views, 1,000 views. But you say something lies and in favor of those powerful people, you can immediately get a million views.
Yeah, that's true.
So people being trained, AI to teach him. So before we said we are training AI, no, it's AI training people how to speak, how to talk, how to think. If like us, we run platform, you talk right, you'll be awarded by the platform by the AI, give you a very good commercial income, very good views. But if you want to say something against people, you have your subscribe reduced, you have this. So I think AI is training all the people how to talk. That's my conclusion for the freedom of speech.
I agree with you. So this conversation was very fascinating, and where people can keep following you and your work. So can you share your social
We
media?
have a website called the bigplot.us, and one word, the bigplot and .us. That's our website.
Are you an X?
.us, yes, it's a global, and they have 4 languages.
Are you on social media, on X, on Instagram?
Maybe Moe is on X, yes.
Yes, I have X.
And what's your X name? At the
Fukada Moe.
At the Fukada Moe.
Very good.
Okay.
So make sure
Yes.
you all go follow you, Fukada Moe, and keep up with all your very interesting insights. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.